Beverly Hills was where I met you. Driving the 1990 red coupe, hands in the air and music blasting, and my heart was pounding. Wind in my hair and we were laughing, and all of the questions you were asking, making me feel like it was just us. And my mind was racing. Never had love before I saw you. Never had lust before I loved you. And did you learn to run from nothing? You would be my extra something. Just you and me here in this motel, wishing that we wouldn't grow older. We had talks on Sunday morning with your arms around me. Wanted to stay here in this moment, try to stop time until it's frozen. You had me falling from the first look, and now you've got me hooked. Never had love before I saw you. Never had lust before I loved you. And did you learn to run from nothing? You would be my extra something.
We want to thank our friends at Metabrands for sponsoring our eSport event. Metabrands is a metaverse resource DAO that provides instant exposure to the top-performing NFTs, play-to-earn models, and player-owned economies. Now let's talk about another of our sponsors, MeTech. MeTech is a hosting provider for ASIC and GPU miners and a reseller of old and new equipment combined with an own repair shop. And now we bring you one of our sponsors, PIVX. PIVX is financial security, protecting your wealth and privacy through its cutting-edge proof-of-stake blockchain. We want to thank our friends at Moments for sponsoring our eSport event. Moments is a platform that facilitates the exchange of crypto for time, including tasks, hires, marketplace, and more. Be sure to sign up and get an instant crypto rewards today.
What do you want to do?
Oh, we're live. Hello, everybody.
Oh, hello.
Let's forget who's bringing who in. Let's bring it all in. What a start!
Yeah, that's the perfect start.
The perfect start. Hello, everybody. Welcome to StakeCube eSports and the Christmas Showdown 2021. My name's Grafman. That is Fox over there, and we are ready. We've had our group stages out of the way and done with right here on the stream. We're going to see the semi-finals, the third place match, and the grand final for today, Fox. How are you doing? I know it's really early down under for you right now.
I'm fine. I'm fine. That's normal. Got my energy drink. I'm ready to go. And I mean, I love these tournaments. I really do. I did the last one, and you find a lot of deep kind of bubble talent in Europe a lot. And, I mean, some of the talent that we saw last tournament in the fall tournament was really, really good, and I'm really excited to see, hopefully, some of the same action today.
Yeah, hopefully so. Let's talk about our first game of the day. It's going to be the Jungle Juicers versus Dunno Chief. I don't know, Chief. I'm going all Australian. You're turning me into an Aussie already, mate. I don't know, mate. Don't know, Chief. I'm sorry. I will stop doing that now. I'm very sorry. On the Jungle Juicers is Esk, Ivan, and Tosis against Dunno Chief, which is Shilla, Carbo, and Adjuez. Something like that.
Adjuez, I'd say. This is an interesting. I think that Jungle Juicers probably have an upper hand based on the games they've played today and the teams they've played against. But these best of threes, you're not 100% sure, because if you don't start off straight away, you can easily concede a goal, concede a few games early, and you're gone already before you even notice.
Yeah, and like you said, in a best of three scenario, it can just be over in an instant. So you cannot afford to be dropping goals, dropping games, what have you. You need to be on it 100% the entire way if you want to go through to the next stage. And both these teams coming in, Fox, throughout their group stages, not dropping a single game, both going 3-0 and not conceding a single game at all.
Well, there's no little boys when it comes to these semi-finals in these tournaments. Every single time that we've had these tournaments and you get to the semi-finals, and these are the proper teams, these are the proper ones that know exactly what they're doing and have been playing for a long time. And I think that now that, we've got the semi-finals and all that, this is the ultimate test for the teams to go all the way, and they'll feel, especially with these kind of single elimination semi-finals or best of threes, I think that all four teams here will feel that they have a really good chance to win this tournament.
Yeah, and not only can they be winners, but you guys at home can be winners too. If you go to our Discord, go hit the link. It's just underneath the stream. Go to Discord and find the hashtag giveaways channel. We're giving away 5 random Steam codes. So go into the channel, find it, click the little reaction, and you could be bagging yourself some Steam game codes. But let's talk about. Let's get into our predictions here as we're getting everything set to go.
Yeah.
I won't lie. These are not players who are overly familiar to myself, but I know on I believe it was Wednesday earlier this week. It wasn't the same roster, but it was Jungle Juicers. They were playing in another tournament, and they actually took a game off of a team going by the name of Space Knights. And you might know them. You might have heard the names of Exotic and Radisson, and they were playing with Zen, so they managed to take a game off them. Even though it was just Tosis that was on that team, he was playing with Max Gray and Boom that day. But even bringing in 2 different players, obviously try to find maybe rosters going into next season of RLCS. I'm going to back Jungle Juicers in this one. What do you think?
I think that best of threes is the king of upsets. I think that this really could go either way, obviously, when it comes to best of threes. And I think that it's just going to come down to which team starts off, all guns blazing. And I'm actually going to go against you. I think that Dunno Chief is going to get this one, just not based on name. I just think that that you get these kind of, we saw it in the last tournament where you get these kind of seed 1 upsets when it comes to these best of threes where a team just doesn't start fast. And with, Jungle Juices being seed 1 and thinking in their head, oh, we could go all the way here. If they don't start fast, they could be in trouble. So I'm going to go Dunno Chief just based on maybe Jungle Juices not starting to their full potential and leaving themselves too late. So I'll go Dunno Chief.
Well, it's. Oh, I was going to say it's a bold prediction, but to be quite honest, in the spirit of the name, Dunno Chief. Could be either one of them.
Yeah, this is absolutely just a coin toss in terms of luckness. I would say on our part, I wouldn't be putting money on it, but I think that Dunno might be able to go all the way. But we'll see what happens with that. And speaking of going all the way, let's have a look at the bracket before we get started with today's action and see where these 4 teams lie in terms of just their positioning on the bracket and where they're going to be. And you can see that we have that first game that we are going to see with Dunno Chief and Jungle Juicers. Of course, everything today being a best of 3, and then Ducks Vampy afterwards, which is going to be quite the fight, actually. Vampy being the previous winners of the fall tournament, now coming in today as, I would say, probably the favorites to go all the way today, but we'll have to see what happens with that one later on.
Yeah, of course, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on when we have Vampy versus Ducks. And obviously, coming into a tournament like this, when you've just won the last one, you want to defend your crown to the bitter end. So it'll be interesting to see what they can pull off in our second semi-final. But I believe we are just about ready to get things going in this semi-final.
We're just waiting on a few players to get in and all that stuff and everything else. It wouldn't be a tournament without. It wouldn't be a caster tournament without some kind of technical issue. But it gives us more time to talk about this tournament in general. And I really do like these type of tournaments when it comes to these. Not even, I'd say, below the bubble tournaments where they get a little experience of what can be in terms of if they can become a good player in the future. And we saw some brilliant players in the previous tournament that have a few of them have gone on to better things. And I mean, this Vampy side last time went all the way, and it was the same side then, and they're back again, and it really is kind of like a trial of being able to play in these tournaments and get used to the feel of these tournaments as well.
Yeah, exactly, and like you said, a lot of these, like you said, below the bubble players maybe not all of them have been on a stream before. Maybe they don't have this experience of having their games broadcasted or anything like that and going through the process of that. But of course, like every pro starts somewhere. These guys are, I imagine most of these guys are still quite young, so they've still got a long way to go in their Rocket League careers. And you never know. We might be today. We might be watching a star of the RLCS in the not too distant future.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Without these tournaments, you wouldn't have teams coming up. It'd be the same group of 8 or 16 that we see in Europe and NA and other regions as well. Without these tournaments, you don't get the experience and the airtime to kind of show off your skill for other players. Whether or not they stay on the same team or not is another thing, but just being able to show yourself to potential scouts in a way, and also use, I mean, if I was a player, I was a player once, but being able to use your pop-offs as a means of putting it onto your CV or your resume is also kind of important as well. Just your individual plays also helps.
Yeah, gotta get those clips for the montage and send it over to Team Liquid, because I hear they're looking for players these days. Well, I don't know
Looking
if
for players all the time. They seem to change every 2 days.
maybe Vitality come out. Who knows?
Yeah,
But,
Vitality, yeah.
That's a story for another day. Let's talk about what's on the line as well. And I mentioned about these players never really, getting on broadcast before. And of course, like there are tournaments here and there. You may get $50 here, $100 here. Today, yeah, you're still playing for that kind of money. You're $200 for the overall winner today if you make it to the grand final. So basically, if you win this game, you get $125 guaranteed. Could go up to 200 if you win the whole thing. But it's not over yet, because we do have our third place match. So if you lose this one, you go into that third place match. Winner of that one gets $75. So $25 each. I mean, it's not bad for an evening in Rocket League.
Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, I mean, all you got to do is win a best of 3 as well. Just win that best of 3 to start off with. Get that game won and get yourself a bit of momentum. And any team really can go ahead and get themselves into the final that way. Momentum really makes a big difference in terms of just being able to, you get that first game in the best of 3, that momentum starts. Not only that, but then you don't have to worry about later on losing that best of 3 and then later on playing a best of 5 just to get some cash. That's a bit, in my opinion, you're playing for more in the third place match than what you are in the final. In a way, you want to get that, you want to be able to get paid for something that you're working on and everything else. Nobody in this tournament wants to come fourth.
No, definitely not. And I mean, like you said, you made it to this stage as well. All you need to do, at least in your semi-final, is win 2 games, and you're guaranteed a piece of the pie. You're guaranteed a bit of money for just coming along here and competing. And that's, at the end of the day, that's all that the players will probably tweet saying, "Oh yeah, won the StakeCube Christmas Showdown, man! I love that." And then who knows, you might get some tasty clips out of it. Stick it on the subreddit afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, and that's at the end of the day, that's all it's about, is just showing off. I guess just showing off to your mates and show, look at this. I won $200 playing Rocket League. You know what I mean? It's like it. And in a best of 3 as well, to get yourself into it is pretty easy money at the end of the day. I love these tournaments because they're so quick fire. Just best team doesn't always win, so it's always exciting. You get those best of 7s where it's like, best team usually wins those, 9 times out of 10, barring some kind of luck. But, a lucky post hit, a couple of big saves. And those are a goal in these best of 3s is actually bigger than a best of 7. You're not going to get many goals in these best of 3s, and any kind of pop-off play is pretty big. So we're ready to go. We are finally ready to go after all that. And finally, we've got ourselves the Christmas Showdown.
Yes, we do. Teams are ready on the field. Let's get this show on the road. A best of 3 between the Jungle Juicers and Dunno Chief. Jungle Juicers in the blue side, Dunno Chief on the orange, and it's going to be Shilla making the First save attempt there. It goes well, but Tozos right up on that backboard was maybe looking for a drop down.
Yeah, that was...
No Chief right as it start. Here comes Sheila for a shot, but won't get through Esk.
Yeah, it was nearly a big chance just to start it off. It looks like definitely the orange team has started off the fastest, and there it is. Big goal to start us off, top corner, just off the back post by Carbo. Very well played. And Tossis was just in one of those awkward positions where there was nothing he could do there, and he did nothing but watch the ball go into that top corner.
Yeah, you just have to sit and watch that one go down.
Yeah.
And early pressure from the Jungle Juicers is not rewarded as they concede their first defensive play. Let's see what else they're able to do upfield though. Is how did we say we were going to say his name? Adgoez?
Yeah.
Adgoez.
Yeah, Adgoez, I'd say it is.
Adgoez.
Yeah.
Call him Bob.
I mean, you know,
Call him Bob.
I'm an Australian. We don't have much of the vocabulary, so you know, just being able to. As Carbo gets that one as well, and all of a sudden it's 2-0, and it's been quite a fast start from Carbo and Sheila, who have just been popping themselves off. One passes it to the other, and the other passes it to the other, and 2-0 a minute in, and that's the fast start you need in these best of threes that I was talking about.
Oh, for sure. And that was a great fly up there from Cabo as well, just air rolling himself to get in the perfect position for that. And again, Jungle Juicers get a little bit of offense in, but they concede this possession quite easily, and that's going to be a free net for Cabo to get the third.
Well, it's just domination to start us off, and it seems like they're just a little bit faster in terms of, that's a brilliant play from Carbo. He jumps in front of Sheila, who also would have had a good chance on that shot, but he backed himself, and I mean, it's been all done from the start here. It's been a very, very fast start. You can definitely tell the difference in. There's just a slight difference in aerial speed between the two teams, and I mean, the 3 goals to start off this game is a very, very fast start and probably well justified.
Yeah, it does feel like Dunno Chief have the upper hand when it comes to the speed department, and Adgoez takes that across the front of the net. No one was there to help him all that much, but again, every time that the Jungle Juicers have to make a defensive touch, it's right back into the hands of Dunno Chief, and they're just keeping this pressure going. I mean, you've got 7 shots so far on the side of the Chiefs. Meanwhile, Jungle Juicers only have the 2.
Yeah, it definitely seems like there's a lot of just attacking pressure, just that, not even attacking pressure, more like positional pressure, where Dunno seem to, even if they lose the ball up forward, they've got a player putting pressure on like that, and it creates a lot of pressure on these defenders to get rid of the ball compared to allowing them to get to the half with no issue. They're definitely putting a lot of pressure off the ball as well as on the ball. You can definitely see it.
And they're running away with this one so far. Half the game gone, half the game to go. And it's a 3-0 lead. And like you said, Fox, it's all about that quick start. And can Jungle Juicers try to break themselves back into the orange half? Because they've really not had any really good chances so far. Off the backboard does go Ivan, and Tossis did well to try and follow that one. Oh, demo in front of net. Could be the shot for Ivan, but Sheila positioned himself so well in net that nothing was getting past him.
Yeah, this is just the classic story that I said before about you've got to start fast in these best of threes, and that's exactly what Dunno did. They went all guns blazing at the start, got those 3 goals, and from there it makes it very, very hard. And Carbo gets another and gets himself a hat trick, and that, I mean, that's probably what the story has been at the moment. Is Carbo in the air seems to be faster than anybody else, gets those open shots, and it's 4-0 with less than 2 minutes to go, game 1.
Yeah, you feel Jungle Juicers are just giving Cabo that much respect in the air that they just do not want to challenge him. But at some point when you were 3-0 down, now 4-0 down, you've got to be a little bit aggressive. You know, take the fight straight to Dunno Chief, and especially Cabo, like you mentioned. He's got 3 goals, like you said, and off of the 5 shots, so really high shooting proficiency. Let's see what Jungle Juicers can do upfield as S gets it past one, but straight into the hands of Sheila, And that's exactly what Dono Chief have been doing so well, just taking this possession right back in their favor every time.
Yeah, and that's the pressure as well, is that every single time they do lose the ball, there's nothing that this squad can do about it. They just get rid of the ball straight away. And as soon as they've gotten rid of the ball, Dunno is straight back onto it and able to create another attacking play because of it. And not only does it create another attacking play, but it also takes time off the clock as well. Gets rid of that pressure, the time pressure. I mean, now there's only 45 seconds left on the clock because they've had so much possession of the ball. So not only have they gotten goals from this, but they've been able to wipe off that time off the clock, and now it's practically impossible.
Yeah, looking ahead to game number 2, you really feel that Jungle Juicers, maybe even just getting a goal out of this game in the last 30 seconds, would at least put a little bit of momentum in their stride and give them a boost of confidence going into game number 2. But I do not think Dunno Chief are going to let them go that easily. First one, a little bit of a blowout, but it all came from that hot start in the first minute or so from Dunno Chief. They got the fourth a little bit afterwards. And oh, S does get a goal to go on the road with, but it's still going to be a Dunno Chief win.
That's a good goal. He was up in the air for quite a bit there and was able to get that one in, and that would give him a minor bit of confidence as well coming into game 2. Maybe they know that that this one got away from them and they're able to get back in game 2. But overall, this has been a pretty solid first game from Dunno in terms of just defensive rotation. I know that they did score 4 goals, but there was no real panic at the start for this Dunno Chief team. It just seemed to be all, especially from the start, it seemed to be all Dunno Chief, but they were able to early get the goals and then take the time off the clock without having to worry about anything else coming in. So it was well done, not only attacking wise to get those goals at the start, but then to be able to take the time off the clock without conceding anything as well was also well done.
Yeah, it was just all aspects of the game so well played from Dunno Chief. I mean, you see on the stat pages there that Jungle Juicers, they had 8 saves total, but that came from the absurd amount of shots that Dunno Chief were just able to crack onto their net. And like you said, Fox, and we'll keep saying it, the hot start, because they scored 3 goals in the first minute or 2, it was just impossible for Jungle Juicers to get themselves back in it, get a foothold on this game number 1, and now all to do in game number 2 if they want to stave off that third place match. They want to get themselves into the grand final. They've got this match to survive, and then maybe a third afterwards.
That's a good dribble there, nearly got to it, but that's exactly it. They want to get this first goal here in their eyes. They want to get themselves back in this series. And I mean, this is what happened in the previous tournament. A team went and conceded a lot of goals early, and they actually came back and won game 2 and 3. So you can never be complacent with these best of 3s, because all of a sudden you lose game 2 and it's back to even ground and you're playing for one, kind of like an overtime game 3 in a way. And they want to keep going here, Dunno, because that's a good pass, that's a good play, and it's Carbo again, and it's Sheila to Carbo, which we've said a lot in this series so far. 39 seconds in, and they're going all guns blazing again.
And that's just a textbook setup from Sheila.
Yeah.
Well worked around that corner, and Cabo positioned himself so well. And again, just the defense really not expecting this fast style of play, or well, they should be expecting it. It's rather more so that they just can't play up to the level that Dunno Chief have. Here comes the infield pass towards Adoges, and will not be sacked to the back of the net. S does get a hand on it, and right back upfield, looking for a really quick counter-attack. Not seen that too many times from the side of Jungle Juicers, but I think these quick counter-attacks are exactly what they need to get their offense flowing.
I was about to say that. If they're going to get back into this game, they can keep playing the way they have. Their defense has been pretty solid other than the goals they've let in, but they need to start finding these quicker attacks, finding a quick pass, just getting a player at 2 or 3 seconds up earlier, just to create some kind of like a cheeky NFL play in a way, where you've got the wide receiver. It's the same type of play in Rocket League, where you get that player up forward quickly and try to create a play early before anybody else gets there, just to get something going on this attacking side.
Yeah, there's no offside rule in Rocket
Yeah.
League. So might as well just have someone poaching the goal all the time. Or, well, maybe not all the time. You know what I mean.
No
Just
VAR to cancel goals. Nothing like that. No referees.
No referees, no instant replay. It's all left on the pitch.
If there was referees in like Team BDS games, there'd be issues. There'd be yellow cards and red cards everywhere.
Oh dear. Oh dearie me. Oh, has Tosa's got a
Oh,
lane
that
in
one's
here,
come
no,
down.
against the
Ooh.
crossbar. And the fourth man for Dono
Yeah.
Chief, the woodwork coming into play. It is Jungle Juicers getting a little bit more offense in here, Fox, but they just can't seem to hit the target.
Yeah, this is better from the lads. They've left it a bit late, but they can get that goal just to get themselves back into this series. There's definitely a chance. They're looking a lot faster. They're getting their chances going, but Dunno's looking very solid in terms of changing their play up. All of a sudden, they're on the defense for practically the first time in the series, and sometimes that can be a bit shocking. Like sometimes you've played 7 minutes of Rocket League and you've been attacking the entire time, and all of a sudden the attack comes on against you, and you can let in a couple of goals here or there just from easiness. But they've done well to transition themselves back into a defensive game, and they're 2 minutes away from getting themselves to the grand final.
Well, just looking at the stat sheet. Oh, what a save from
Save.
Cabo. That was almost a guaranteed game
And he
tire,
scored
but
as
it's
well.
right back downfield. Cabo gets the save, and he gets the goal to boot.
That's a 2-goal turnaround right there, and that could be practically the game right there. Just that's brilliant in terms of that's 1-1 if he doesn't save that. He ends up saving it and controlling it as well, bringing it around the other. That's a 2-goal turnaround. It's 2-0.
Oh, and it's just dire straits now for the Jungle Juicers. Like I said, it was almost guaranteed that Esk was going to hit that in. He was shooting close range, really quick shot, but Cabo with just the save of the day so far. Like you said, it's a 2-goal swing the other way, and now they need 2 goals of their own. Can Esk find someone in the middle? He does find Tosis, but he just smacks towards the corner of the pitch. Ivan with a block out, beats out Cabo. Let's see what Tosis can do one-on-one with the Doges. Only able to
Nearly
get the bump,
knocked
not
him.
able to get out. Yeah, I think he did bump them out the way, but just wasn't able to get the clean shot off.
I'd like to see from here, I'd like to see just go ice hockey style and just go empty gold from here. Try and get a goal quickly and see if you can get yourself back into the series. Nothing too drastic, but just you got to get yourself back into the game quickly and try to keep about 20 seconds on the clock to get another play going. So you're better off playing now, getting the attack and see if you can get a goal. If you concede another, well, it doesn't matter anyway. They should just go all attacking from here, which it looks like they're going to do. Try and get a play going quickly as Esk tries to get onto this one. Goes up, but it's only going to go as far as Carbo. Takes his time on it, but ends up going to Tosis. Comes back. There's 10 seconds left on the clock, and that one's going to go up in the air, up into the corner, and that's probably going to do it from here. Dunno will get themselves a 2-0 in what was pretty much just convincing fashion.
Very convincing and very unfortunate there right at the end that one doesn't go in. It wouldn't have mattered all that much anyway, as the 2-0 was pretty much uncomebackable from. That's a phrase I've just came up with and will never ever use again. Uncomebackable.
Scottish lingo.
We'll call it Scottish lingo. That's how I'm going to cover myself on that one. But yeah, just seeing what Dunno Chief were able to pull off in that. Not even just we saw the offense in game number 1, how good that looked.
Yeah.
Game number 2 proved how well they can play defensively as well.
Yeah, that was, I mean, at the end of the day, Dunno Chief just started the faster and created the plays early to put the pressure on Jungle Juicers, and they weren't able to answer to that pressure. Dunno Chief looked very, very solid in the air as well, which is something that sometimes you don't see in these lower tier kind of games. Sometimes it's usually played on the floor a lot more. But Dunno Chief seemed to be able to play in the air pretty well. They reminded me of Vampy, who we'll see soon, who are also a very good aerial side as well. So if those two get in the finals, it could be a very, very close series. But there's still Vampy to come with Vampy versus the Ducks. yeah, they've got to get through one before they get through to Dunno Chief, and we'll have to see very soon what happens there.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We'll get that one set up for you in just a moment. I'm not. Are we going to break, or are we going? We are just going to go straight into this this semi-final game. So, Vampy versus Ducks, as you mentioned earlier, Fox, the reigning champions of the last StakeCube eSports tournament, and they've. And they've got themselves to the semi-final matches, but we are actually going to take a small break. We'll talk about this game in just a sec. Come back and you'll see it live.
Wasting time on my own. All the places that we go. All this pain builds within. Footsteps fade, what could have been? Finally I feel more free. The end of you and me. Let it go, let it be. My heart belongs to me. My heart belongs to me. You're never gonna let me go, and I will never let you go. And now I'm feeling stronger, feeling stronger. You're never gonna let me go, and I will never let you go.
We want to thank our friends at Metabrands for sponsoring our eSport event. Metabrands is a metaverse resource DAO that provides instant exposure to the top-performing NFTs, play-to-earn models, and player-owned economies. Now let's talk about another of our sponsors, MeTech. MeTech is a hosting provider for ASIC and GPU miners and a reseller of old and new equipment combined with an own repair shop. And now we bring you one of our sponsors, PIVX. PIVX is financial security, protecting your wealth and privacy through its cutting-edge proof-of-stake blockchain. We want to thank our friends at Moments for sponsoring our eSport event. Moments is a platform that facilitates the exchange of crypto for time, including tasks, hires, marketplace, and more. Be sure to sign up and get an instant crypto rewards today.
Welcome back, everyone, to StakeCube eSports and our continued coverage of this year's Christmas Showdown. My name is Crafman, that is Fox, and we are ready to get ourselves into our second semi-final match of the day. It is, of course, going to be Vampy versus the Ducks. Now, Fox, you were talking earlier about Vampy and how well they worked, and of course, actually won the last tournament that we hosted here on this very Twitch channel. What can you tell us about this team that we're going to see?
They're very team-orientated. They're one of those teams who, yeah, they've got individual pop-off factor, but most of it is just made from counter-attack and just being able to pass the ball perfectly into an area that is always going to create pressure. I really do like this Vampy team. I said it the same in the last tournament that they probably should be really looking into that kind of bubble just below RLCS factor teams. They really do look, for an EU side, like they do look like a proper top 32 side, and I mean the EU being such a big region and the amount of teams and stuff like that, this Vampy side could give some of these, top 8 Australian sides a run for their money. I really do like the way that this Vampy side look.
That's a bold claim. I mean, considering how Ground Zero and Renegades did in the major, I think they did fantastically well. Didn't crack the top 8, unfortunately, did the Aussie boys, but
I'm proud of them.
Yeah, I bet you were. It was awesome to watch. I was really pulling for at least one of them to make it into the top 8. But hey, that's a talk for another time. But yeah, if you're saying that they can go head to head with some of the top teams in OCE, I'm really excited to see what this team have to offer. And so let's talk about their opponents a little bit. Ducks, the only team out of the 4 that we're going to see today who actually ended up dropping a series in their group stage games. They won their other 2, or excuse me, no, so they only played, they only played 2 games. They beat out Fab Crimson 2-0, but then lost to KDY in their third round game 2-1. So not unbeatable are this Ducks team, but just based on what you're saying, Fox, I'm gonna have to trust your instincts on this. I mean, you were right the first prediction. I was just way off. I'll take the L on that, but I'll back Vampy in this one. I'm gonna go with Vampy in this best of 3 to get themselves in the final.
I think that if I was going to make a claim at the start of the tournament, who's going to go through and win the entire thing, I probably would have said Vampy going by the teams. I love it when my webcam freezes like that for no reason. I'm just smiling on the screen, but I'm like an NFT. Get your smiling foxy NFT. But it's if I was going to make the claim at the start, I definitely would have said that they're probably going to win the entire thing today. Get going by experience with these guys and how well they've been playing these tournaments. But that's the thing with these best of 3s. You really don't know who's going to come and start fast. I think that Vampy, I think we'll get to game 2 and Vampy should be able to finish it off at 2-0. I'll say Vampy 2-0.
Vampy 2-0. I'll say 2-0 as well. I think just from what I'm hearing from you, like giving them such high praise like that. I mean, I'm excited. You better not be overhyping them.
Yeah.
Once you hype them up,
now.
they'll just fall flat in their faces.
It'll be awkward now. Yeah, no, I think they should win. I think that they've got the experience in these tournaments enough to get it all the way. But like to see what happens with that. But not only that, but I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look at the bracket that we've had so far in terms of the game that we just saw, as well as what we're going to see later on. As you can see from the bracket, we had that 2-0 with Dano Chief beating Jungle Juices pretty convincingly. We got Ducks versus Vampy coming up very, very soon on stream as soon as we get both teams in. Jungle Juices will be in that best of in the third place playoff, best of 5 to see who wins. Whoever loses out of Ducks versus Vampy will be playing Jungle Juices, and then the winner of Ducks versus Vampy later on in the show will play Dano Chief in about, let's say, about a half an hour's time.
Yeah, and all those other matches are going to be best of 5. That's where you earn your money, is in those money matches. So best of 5 it will be after this best of 3 semi-final matchup as well. So as we wait for the teams to get themselves ready, I think they're just about in. But just a quick reminder, if you want to go to our Discord, hit the button underneath the stream. I'm sure there's exclamation mark Discord, you can do it in the chat as well. Go over to our Discord, go to the giveaways channel, and you can enter yourself to be the lucky owner of 1 of 5 random Steam games. But for now, you go and do that, and we'll get this match underway. It's time for Vampy versus Ducks in the semi.
Yep, that's exactly it. We're ready to go, and I'm excited about Dying in this one. He did brilliant in the last tournament, and they've started very fast in. Lassanelli getting one there. Dying is out of the 3 players, he's probably the one with the best pop-off factor in terms of just individual plays, but they're such a team-orientated team that they've played together for quite a while now, and that's a big factor as well, playing together with the same 3 for a long time, because you start getting used to the players. Like, you can have 3 wonderful players, but if they're not playing on the same page, they can just not be in the right team together. But these 3 seem to be on the same page most of the time, especially when attacking.
Yeah, having that familiarity with the rest of your teammates is going to be so crucial. I mean, I mentioned earlier that Tosis on Jungle Juicers, who we just saw, played with a completely different roster under the name Jungle Juicers on Wednesday. Went out in their quarterfinal matchup, but did take a game off of Redosin and Exotic and Zen on that. I mean, those are players to be very much feared. And we saw how that worked out. If you don't play with these guys all the time, then you might end up struggling. That's how Jungle Juicers went down. But just seeing what these guys on Vampy are starting to do, they're playing a little bit conservatively just now. Don't want to make any mistakes too early.
It's very smart as well, because we saw in the first series that by this stage there was 3 goals already conceded, and practically game 1 was over. In these best of 3s, you're practically playing at the start of the game not to concede, not to give away too many goals and all of a sudden make game 1 just impossible from the start like we saw before, and kind of just warm yourself up from there instead of forcing it from the start. And that's what we're seeing from both teams here. Just a bit of a conservative play to go, okay, we'll get about halfway through and then we'll turn on, and that way you don't give away too many goals to start off with.
Giga with a touch out to midfield, just picked up straight away by Cleaverly and right towards net. And your man to watch, Dying, is the one to make the save there. Right back up to the orange half of the fields. Doug's able to corral this quite nicely. And every time that it seems Vampy want to go upfield, it's just collected by the Ducks defense. And they're right back on the attack. Here comes Cleaverly over the top. Can't get past Laza in the midfield.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a
Pass.
counter-attacking. That was a good pass there. He didn't quite get to it. It seems like a bit of a counter-attacking attack from Ducks. They're allowing Vampy to have the ball, get it up forward, and then play from there. But Vampy are doing well to counter that as well, making sure that if any good pass comes in or anything like that, there is a player there to stop it. And this is, to start it off here, it's been a pretty defensive game. I'm actually quite intrigued to see where we go from here, because Ducks have actually started this one relatively well. I didn't expect them to go 3.5 minutes against this Vampy side without them having a chance. There hasn't really been a chance from either side, really, and it's been pretty conservative from the Ducks. They're doing well here.
Ooh.
And that was nearly in.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Laza, I thought Laza had messed it up by getting that save right back into the attacking Ducks player, but manages to make a miraculous save on the second attempt. It still can't convert it into offensive pressure all that much. Laza will try from the right-hand ball. Not a lot of boost in the tank, so Cleverly with the easy enough save. Like you said, it has just been a defensive slobber knocker of a game. Again, Ducks don't seem to be wanting to.
That's a good
fully
pass.
commit downfield. Oh, that is right in the middle. Cleverly tried to find the teammate, but it's just a little bit too long in the last 40 seconds. One goal could be the difference, and it's going to be Cleverly who gets it.
And the upset is on, and Cleverly has done well to start us off. It reminds me of Tom Cleverly from Manchester United back in the day, and he scores like him as well. It's 1-0, 39 seconds to go, and it's been a bit of an upset game one.
Certainly has been. Bit of a shock to the system of Vampy as well. Remember, these out of the two teams here, Ducks were the only one, even out of the four that we're seeing today, the Ducks were the only team to drop at least one series in their group stages. And now Vampy they even dropped games. I don't think Vampy had dropped a game at all today. And they're on the cusp of going down 1-0 in this best of 3, remember. It'll be Ducks going on to match point unless something miraculous can happen here in the last 3 seconds. Tang will have to take it all away from his own end of the field, but no one's going to be there to keep it up in the air, and Ducks will take the first.
The power of the best of 3. All of a sudden it goes from being, a major favorite to all of a sudden you're one game away from practically, taking yourself out of the grand final. And Vampy just, even though they only conceded the 1 goal, they only had the 5 shots. Just a conservative start from Vampy, and were waiting to get their chance, and they didn't really get their chance. Get a chance that was grade A in that one, and it seemed that Ducks were more on the front foot, and you can see from the fly percentages as well. Cleverly was definitely in the air a lot more than what Vampy was, and it seemed that Ducks were flying in that one.
At least they called themselves Duck. Ducks can fly, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Ducks fly together.
Ducks fly together. It's chickens who can't fly. And various other birds, but at least they named themselves after a creature who can actually aerial in real life. So that's going well for them so far. It is working out well for them here in the series as well. As we mentioned, only 1 game left for them to get themselves a place in the grand final against Dono Chief a little bit later on. And of course, remember, getting yourself to that grand final guarantees you at least some prize money. $125 for coming second today, goes up to $200 if you win the whole thing. And Cleverly wanting to get things off to a quicker start than the first game and gets his first shot on the board in record time.
Yeah, and it seems like there's definitely a lot starting off here. There's a lot more attacking coming from Vampy. They've turned on all of a sudden and changed the conservative way from game 1. You can see them up and playing more on the halfway line now, which I know Vampy to be. It was a very weird game 1 where they kind of just played conservative and tried not to concede goals early, and it bit them in the butt because they couldn't score themselves. And that goal with 50 seconds to go just changed everything, changed the perspective of this series, and all of a sudden they're on the back foot. But this Vampy side, they've come from behind before, and they made an upset against a side. I can't remember who it was, but they were not favourites last tournament, and they were 1-0 down in that one against the favourites and ended up winning. So they are a team that start late, but when they start scoring goals, they will pop off. And I mean, we've only had 1 goal in this series so far, and they need to start. When they score that goal, they will absolutely start popping off, but they need to get their foot in the door first, and this Ducks side are making sure that they don't.
Yeah, they're really just playing spoiler right now. That may be a chance for Jigga as he came right over the top. But yeah, it just seems Ducks, every touch that they get, it's just preventing that second, third part phase of the game starting for Vampy. They're cutting out the infield passes, the upfield passes before they can even be made, or even be thought about being made. Here comes Dying though, can't get the flip, or does get the flip reset, but not able to get a clean touch on the ball. This one is just hovering the corner of the field. Let's see what Laza, even Jigga will come flying in from afar. And to be quite honest with you, I think that was more Laza's ball to go for. Just drive up the wall.
Yeah.
Jigga could have got himself into a much better position there.
Yeah, you're right. It seemed like maybe a communication error or something like that. One calls it, the other doesn't. But this is better from Vampy. They're finally starting to get a bit of attacking pressure and get that play going. But Ducks, once again, even though they've got that pressure on them, they're still finding ways to get rid. It's not sexy Rocket League, but it's smart. And you play with what you're given and get your chances when you can. And there it is. Matt is creating the upset. And this has been a very solid defensive performance, considering Vampy have been getting a few attacking plays on, but they just can't get anything done with it. This Duck side are defending brilliantly.
I mean, only 3 saves on the board total for Ducks, but it feels like they've been making more. Even the ones that aren't properly registered, as Cleverly goes from midfield. Laza with it was a tricky enough save. Don't want to say that there was nothing easy about that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just feels Ducks are all over this pitch and everywhere that Vampy don't want them to be. Every time they clear their field, and I mean, even the demo there by Mark taking out Dying just gives them a lot more time to spend down in this blue half and bleed the seconds dry off this clock.
Well, there's 1:30 to go, and we're yet to ever have a best of 3 to only have 2 goals in the entire series. And we're 1.5 minutes from doing that, and it's just been smart Rocket League. Like, you can say, oh, it's 1-0, it's 1-0, it's boring, but it's been brilliant from this. Like, look at that, like that should be a goal, but there's just a player there every single time, whether it be on the shot or on the pass before the shot. There's been a player to always be making it 50-50. This has been very smart play, but there it is, Dying. I said if there was a player who was going to be solo popping off, it'd be this man here, and he's finally done it. 1:05, he puts them back in the series.
That is just stupendous from Dying. Pops it up in himself, takes it the entire way, and they will not be shut out in this series. No perfect sweep, no immaculate sweep for the Ducks. Vampy right back in this one, all thanks to that man Dying. Can he demolish his way to the goal line again? And not quite this time. Well, Mark will take this one all the way down. Matt will try and follow. Jiggle will get demoed for his efforts, try to just block this one out. Play the man Mark and march straight towards the blue net. And again, just no way through. Ever since that first one went in, Fox, it just feels like the momentum is been squarely on the side of Vampy even before the Dying goal.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that. And that one nearly goes in. 20 seconds to go here, and I'd like to see Vampy try and finish this before overtime. That's what they're going to try and do here, because they do have the pressure. They've got the plays going their way. You don't want to have a cheap kickoff goal go against you in overtime. You want to finish it off now, and they're doing well here just to get some attack going. Try and get a play going before we get to overtime, and Jigga's going to try and find Lassa, and that's just unlucky. Maybe if there was a bit more time on the clock, he could have done something with it, but the ball bounced. We go to overtime, and this is nervous time for Vampy, because if they make one mistake, they're gone.
Yeah, your chances of the grand final might be lying in tatters after this overtime, or maybe playing in a third. Let's see how this one goes. Dying with no boost. Does so well
Still
to
got
make that
something on
touch.
it.
That was excellent from Dying, just to keep this pressure on.
Yep.
Cleverly does end up relieving, but man, oh man, Dying
This
has
is a
been coming
chance.
into his own this one. That's an empty net, but Lassa does get back.
Dying and Jigger end up hitting each other as they go past, and this is going to be another chance here for maybe Matt to get a play on it. It's a pass from Mark to Matt. It's going to end up going straight to Jigger, and he's going to knock it out 45 seconds into overtime. And this is exactly it. These best of threes, this is the test right here. You score a goal on Vampy, and all of a sudden you're in a game at 3, being favorites. If you knock something wrong, or it ends up going into an open net like that one.
What a save.
Lassa, good save. Saves them with a chance. Keeps them in this tournament so far. And Cleverly's going to try and knock that down. 1:10 to go. We're still none the wiser.
So much pressure from the Ducks, and it just seems like the defense has stepped their game the hell up. Lassa with a couple of great saves. Dying has 5 saves total in this game. I don't know where his defenses came from, but he's certainly showing on the stat sheet. Let's see what he can do as he flings it upfield into the path of Cleverly in the corner. Matt will send this down the right-hand side line, but well read by the defense. 2 men do jump though, but Dying is there to corral it and send it right back. Well, at least he was trying to ping it back downfield. But again,
Cleverly's got boost here.
Holding that. He does have boost, but not a lot, and Jigga had more.
Matt goes up, tries to get another play onto it, gets something going. It's been all attack from Ducks in the past minute or so. Just Ducks fly together. That's exactly what they're doing here. Dying onto the wall. Can he get another touch on it? He can. He's got no boost though. He's got absolutely none, and this can create a play because Lasso's accidentally missed that one. Goes up in the corner. Cleverly in a dangerous spot. Jigger gets rid. 2 minutes 20 in, and it's still all Ducks as Mark tries to find Cleverly. Cleverly doesn't go up for it. Takes his time on it. Cleverly in that corner. Cleverly again doesn't quite. Dying is just he is close to dying here. It's just been nothing but Ducks, but Dying does turn back onto this one, and you don't want to give time on the ball for Dying. Jigger, and it ends up being saved. We're 3 minutes in, none the wiser.
I was going to say the attempts from Ducks, so many of them in this overtime already as we approach the 3-minute mark. But all the chances that they've had and the attempts that they keep making just seem so half-hearted. They just doesn't seem like they've got any belief in these passing plays. They've got every chance in the world. Again, they keep the pressure on. 7 shots from Cleverly, 3 from Matt, 1 from Mark. It's been all out quacking from the Ducks, but they just cannot find that final blow.
Yeah, and I mean, that's exactly it, is that they are getting the attack, but it's for nothing if you can't get that goal, and especially in these overtimes as well. You don't want to give up a cheap one to a silly rotation or something like that stuffs you up. But at the moment, Ducks have been rotating a lot better than Vampy have been in terms of defense, and they're always being a player there, and they're not allowing open goals. I'm very surprised at this Duck side. They're playing very, very well against this Vampy side, who I thought would go all the way, but they're a goal away from ruining their chances of taking 2 tournaments in a row. We're 4 minutes in, still none the wiser. Jigger tries to hit this one up onto the back wall, and maybe here's a chance. Chance for Dying, it saves, but here's a chance for Lassa, and saves it as well.
And that's just great defensive play as well. Matt and Mark combining on the double save. Mark could go all the way himself, but Jigger has his defensive moment now. What can Matt do from the ceiling with maybe about half attack of boost? Not all that much is the answer. Here comes Dying though. Cleverly smartly goes up the wall. He knows he cannot give Dying that second touch, or else he'd be in real trouble.
Here's a chance for Jigger as he tries to hit it off the floor, but Mark's there to get rid. And now Mark has a chance here to get a touch on it to try and get the play going, but it ends up being knocked away. This one will go to Lassa. He goes for the big boom. Cleverly's got enough boost to get rid. We're into 2 whole games of Rocket League now without knowing who's going to win this one. And now Vampy's starting to get a bit of pressure on the ball, and this is where you get a bit scared if you're Ducks, because when Vampy start playing attacking, they get their chances. And there's Lassa right on cue. Exactly 5 minutes. We had exactly 2 games, and now Vampy, all of a sudden, from being on the brink of elimination, go back to favorites.
And that is the one thing that you really could not afford if you're Ducks. Not just conceding in overtime and pushing it to game 3, but the length of time that overtime went on. 5 minutes on the dot. And they end up conceding that one as, like we were mentioning, their defense was so solid. Both teams' defenses were ramped up to 11 in that last game there, Fox. I mean, 11 saves from Ducks. If I can do some quick maths, 4, 5. I need more. I need extra fingers. 10. No, 4, 9,
11
10,
saves
11.
from
No, 11
Vampy.
saves each. 11 saves each. I can do maths. And it was 10. Sorry, 10 from the Ducks. I'm a smart man. I'm a smart man, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, after playing such stonewall defense, to lose to an infield pass like that, that's going to feel really bad for the Ducks.
And the problem you've got now, if you're Ducks, is you don't want to put your face down because you're coming into game 3 now. You don't want to be conceding goals early. They've played so well defensively. They just played Vampy for 10 minutes, conceding only 2 goals throughout the entire thing. They're just going to watch themselves this first couple of minutes just to go back to conservative mode. They don't need to go into full attack, but they just need to make sure don't concede early. Don't concede a couple of goals early and take yourself out of this one early. But here's a chance for Cleverly, and that one's well saved by Jigger. And maybe, just maybe, we got ourselves a series here.
Yeah, and we saw Cleverly do pretty much the exact same thing at the start of game 2. Get those shots in early and try and put yourself up. That's a great pinch. It does go off the post, however. So fortunate for the side of Vampy that one they didn't concede that one in the early going. Could go right back downfield off the crossbar though, and Cleverly sets up Mark. Try to go through one, can't get it past the second. And a hot start for both teams here in the third deciding game.
I was going to say play conservative, but they're doing the exact opposite. Both teams are just going all guns blazing to start us off. It's definitely a different game 3. We've gone from being conservative for the past 2 games to just all of a sudden both teams are just going for everything, trying to get that pressure going, and Cleverly tries to get a chance there over to Matt. That one's just going to be just wide. It would have been wide even if the player didn't get to it. But 4 minutes to go, and here's a chance for Dying. That one's just going to be wide as Mark does knock it away in the end. It's going to be a chance for Jigger to hit it up on the back wall. Here's a chance. Lassa puts it in for a second time off the back wall, and that's a lot better from Vampy. Good team play.
That's how you draw it up on the training room boards. Perfectly off the backboard, and Lassa to follow it up. 1-0. The first leads that Vampy have had, I'm pretty sure.
Other than the overtime,
Apart from the overtime win, this is the first time that they've led in-game and have that 1-0 cushion now. They would love to make it 2-0, although you can see Cleverly coming down this right-hand side. Mark will follow up, but no threatening chance off of that one. Here comes Dying. Oh, he's got still a little bit of boost left. The tank runs out. Cleverly. Oh, I saw what Cleverly was trying to do. It was excellent, but I saw Cleverly was trying to maybe pinch it off the backboard and send it back downfield. Still a dangerous play, though, is now Dying. Flip reset. And he got it in the top corner.
It was just pure, this was just pure, just force it in. And that's exactly what he does. He gets a flip reset, but then he just forces it, and it goes top corner. And sometimes those end up knocking up and going off crossbar and creating a chance up the other side. But this one just goes under the crossbar. And now Vampy are starting to, I said that Ducks couldn't concede early. They've conceded too early. And this is more like I expected this series to be like.
And now with this 2-goal cushion, they're going to start feeling comfortable, and maybe we'll start seeing the full potential of this Vampy squad, because I feel they've been like this entire series. I feel like they've just been holding a lot back.
That's a
not
goal.
seen them 100%. Not entirely sure what Dying was doing in the corner there. He saw Cleverly going towards net. He should have got back.
He kind of ruined his what do they call that these days? That speed flip. He ruined his flip going back towards goal and put himself in an awkward position. Wave dash. He ruined his wave dash going forward, and it was a bit of an awkward wave dash, and it put him to the left instead of the right, instead of going towards goal. And now that mistake has put them back in the series, but it just shows the importance of that last overtime. You know, we could have been at an ad break at the moment, and Vampy are out 2-0, and that Vampy goal really does make a huge difference.
And it does, as we ticked inside towards 2 minutes left in this game. Still only a 1-goal lead for Vampy. They've been down the entire series, just barely scraping out the win in overtime in game 2. They have the lead. Question is, how long can they hold on to it? Matt will try and make life difficult for Lassa down in the blue half of the field. And now Mark, and this is what Ducks really need to get themselves back to, Fox, is just holding this midfield and not letting this ball escape from the blue half.
Yeah, I think from here, that's exactly what they're going to try to do. Go back to the way that they were playing game 1 and 2, and pretty much Mark's got a chance here, and it's just off by Dying. Dying does well to stop it, but yeah, if they play halfway here, and if they concede a goal, well, you know, they were 2-1 down anyway, but if they can score a goal, get themselves back into it, make it 2-2, because Vampy from this stage are just hoping to hold on. They want to get through this series unscathed because they've been tested hugely by this Duck side. And Lassa nearly gets that one in. Comes back off the side of the post by Dying. Somehow doesn't go in. 55 seconds left on the clock. Dying's going to go back and reset, which he does pretty well. Try and take some time off the clock. Lassa hits it off the back wall. That one's going to be into an awkward area and ends up being knocked back down. Dying over to Jigga, and Jigga will try and get with 40 seconds to go in this series.
What an infield pass there from Mark. Couldn't find Matt, just barely missed him. Cleverly will come down this right-hand side, as he has done so often. And the urgency, you can feel it from the Ducks.
Yeah.
Is what we wanted to see from Jungle Juicers just in the last dying moments of this game, of this series. Just try and throw everything you have to get yourself a chance in the final 10 seconds. Mark will go to the right-hand side. He's got Matt right behind him. He's got Cleverly to his left. Can't get it through one, but here comes Matt on the follow-up. 3 seconds to go and it's tied.
Oh, it was awkward in front of goals, and it just needed some kind of touch. And Matt, it ends up going in between the two players, finds a way in, and you take those. 3 seconds to go. They find a way to perhaps take this to overtime.
Unless something miraculous can happen right in 0 seconds and it bounces on the goal line. Oh, overtime has been reached, much to the relief of the Ducks. Whoa. They fought every blade of grass right at the end of regulation, and they're just so fortunate that one bounced down before it trickled in.
Another second on the clock and they'd be out of this right now, but now this is squeaky bum time now. Next team wins, and there it is! It's gonna go all the way! And what a way to finish it. Jigga just seeing that nobody was up there, and he just goes, boom. Yep, I'll take that one. It doesn't matter how pretty it is, just get it done. Cleverly won't be happy with that because their defensive rotation in this game was brilliant, the Ducks, and just a bit of nervousness at the end has cost them, and Jigga will just eat those for breakfast. And at the end of the day, Vampy somehow scraped themselves through to the grand final.
Yeah, it really seems at the end of that, even at the end of regulation when that one went in from Matt for the Ducks, it felt like, oh, maybe this is their chance, and then they could have had overtime. It might have been done in regulation. It was so close. I'd need to look at the replay just to see how close that was to go again, and how far it was off the ground, or would have been off the ground if there was maybe another second on the clock, like you said. Oh, but man, Vampy really got away with one there. I think, like we said, we both predicted them to get through. I did not expect it to be this close. Well played from the side of the Ducks. We'll see them in the third place game in a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they play like that, they're going to win the third place easy. They were brilliant in that game. They just, well, unfortunate in the end, and they really put it out to Vampy and made them wake up, especially late on in that game too. And even in game 3, I don't think Vampy expected that kind of defensive juggernaut from Ducks that we saw. They just couldn't find a way to get through. And finally, at the end, just a bit too much for Ducks to get through at the end of the day. But they nearly got themselves to a final, and I think they should be proud with themselves, because I think that was a very good game of Rocket League. And I mean, that was a best of 3, mind you. That was a best of 3, and we practically played 5 games.
Yeah, with the length of that overtime, it was awesome to see from the Ducks, but unfortunately they will drop to the 3rd place game. Still a lot to play for in that one, $75 on the line that they could walk away with if they are able to beat out the Jungle Juicers, but we'll see that match in a little bit. We'll get that set up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
She found a way into my heart. Oh, oh, she don't make up, no, she make art. And I need a way to treat it, 'cause I keep getting high off of her. Off of her. I know that you'd be bad from the minute I saw you. But somehow I keep running back to you. Back to you. Back to long nights can get me feeling lonely. Hey. And hearing music that can make me smile. But the way I feel with her cannot be explained. But one thing still remains on my mind. I know that you'd be bad from the minute I saw you.
We want to thank our friends at Metabrands for sponsoring our eSport event. Metabrands is a metaverse resource DAO that provides instant exposure to the top-performing NFTs, play-to-earn models, and player-owned economies. Now let's talk about another of our sponsors, MeTech. MeTech is a hosting provider for ASIC and GPU miners and a reseller of old and new equipment combined with an own repair shop. And now we bring you one of our sponsors, PIVX. PIVX is financial security, protecting your wealth and privacy through its cutting-edge proof of stake blockchain. We want to thank our friends at Moments for sponsoring our eSport event. Moments is a platform that facilitates the exchange of crypto for time, including tasks, hires, marketplace, and more. Be sure to sign up and get an instant crypto rewards today.
We're breaking open. Feel like our future's just begun. And all I know is that we lost time. If we stay right here, we could free ourselves inside. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away where no one knows. Let's run away together. Just lead me into your world. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away where no one knows. Let's run away together on our own. Just lead me into your world. Waiting for no one. We're headed straight up for the sun. They'll never notice. We'll take these cities on our own. And all I know is that we
Hello everyone, welcome back to StakeCube eSports and our continued coverage of the Christmas Showdown 2021. My name's Grafman, that is Fox, and we were going to show you the third place matchup between Jungle Juicers and Ducks. However, we had word over the break that it is Jungle Juicers, they have decided to forfeit that third place match to the Ducks. What's your initial thoughts on this, Fox? Because I know we were talking through the break there that we reckon that the Ducks would have probably won that match anyway, but I would have liked to seen it regardless.
I mean, yeah, you would like to see that. It's always sad when you see forfeits. You know, it's stuff that you can't really control, etc., etc. But in my opinion, I think that Ducks will be happy nonetheless. I think that they'll be sad that they can't play for third, but they, I mean, in my opinion anyway, I think that Ducks, I would have predicted Ducks to probably win it, and it would have been, I mean, it would have been hard to see Jungle Juicers win, but it would have been good to see a fight. It's unfortunate and it happens, but Ducks will be happy nonetheless because I think they deserved to get something out of this tournament with how well they played that best of three, and it was probably, let's call it good karma on the Ducks. They played well, they got themselves really into that series, and getting a third from it is probably well justified in the end.
Yeah, and they walk away with $75 in their back pocket, so not too bad for an evening of Rocket League, I say, but what would be even better is $200 for the winner of our final match of the day. It is Vampy versus Dunno Chief, and oh, I cannot wait for this one because both these teams, really different paths to get here throughout the semi-finals that we just watched, Fox. Dunno Chief really just took care of business in their semi-final matchup against Jungle Juicers, a 4-1 and a 2-0. Whereas Vampy really needed to fight claw, tooth and nail to get back to this point.
This could be the story of momentum in a way, of being lucky that you're in semi-final number 2 and that Vampy have just played. It could come down to, are Vampy still warm after just scraping themselves through to get here? You're in an unusual fashion where usually we'll have the third place playoff game here, so there's a bit of a break for the team in the semi-final 2. But now that they haven't actually got a break and they've got a bit of momentum after getting themselves just over the line in the end. Do they have that running momentum to get themselves a fast start here, or will Dunno Chief just be able to dominate like they did against Jungle Juicers? This is going to be a very interesting series.
Yeah, and in a best of 5 as well, where like it's just I know you're adding just maybe 2 games onto it. You only need to win 1 more than you did previously, but it does change the dynamic of a series when you go from best of 3 to best of 5, or even up to best of 7 as well. It just changes the style of Rocket League that we see some of these guys playing. And I know we were talking in the Jungle Juicers Dunno Chief semi-final earlier on about how, especially because Dunno Chief in that first game, they came out of the gates flying, had 3 goals in about a minute, and then just never gave up the lead again. And it's just so important. Even, I don't know that's a best of 3. It's important to start fast, but even a best of 5, you want to come out of the gates firing on all cylinders.
The thing with best of 5s is I like to see it as the longer that a series goes, the more it becomes a game of chess. The more that you're able to use time to read your opponents and how they play. And the best of 3s, you don't really have time to see how your opponents are playing, and especially against opponents that you've never played before. You got to go out there and basically play your default straight from the start in best of 3s, whereas best of 5s and best of 7s I like to see as a game of chess, where you kind of use game 1 to read the way that your opponents are playing and play it from there. But you can't really do that in best of 3s, because if you concede that first game, you're kind of screwed. You need to win. You basically need to reverse sweep it. But these best of 5s is where we do see a lot less upsets, because the smarter teams are able to somehow scrape themselves over the line.
Yeah, so let's get into our predictions for this, as we've got one of the teams in it and ready to go. We're just waiting on Dunno Chief to get themselves into the server. But for me, this is a really difficult one, because Vampy showed signs of life at the end of their semi-final, and like you were saying, with the way that at least they can play, and I've seen a little bit a glimpse of that in that semi-final. Although saying that, Dunno Chief were just outstanding and didn't really give up too many bad plays to their opponents, only conceding 1 goal in that semi-final against Jungle Juicers. So I could see this going the whole 5 games. I don't think this is going to be a sweep one way or the other, but it's a coin flip for me. I'm gonna roll with Dunno Chief on this one. I think Vampy, yes, Dying had a couple of fantastic plays, but the play from the entire team of Vampy, for me, just wasn't consistent enough across the board, and I think Dunno Chief are going to be the ones to capitalize on those errors and take this series.
I'm going to go with the momentum factor here. I think that I said Vampy from the start would win this entire thing. They didn't look too good against Ducks, but Ducks were very defensive, and Vampy couldn't really find a way to get through them. Dunno Chief played Jungle Juicers, and Jungle Juicers weren't to their full potential, to my suggestion. It's going to come down to, did Dunno Chiefs play well, or did Jungle Juicers just not play well enough and kind of made Dunno Chief look good? I think Vampy do win this. I think that they will find a way, and I think that especially with them just winning the semi-final 2 there, and they're already warm after doing so, I'll say a Vampy 3-1.
Yeah, I think this is going to go 5 games personally. I'm going to back Dunno Chief, but to be quite honest, I think even if you get to that 5th game, obviously depending on how the series goes, I think it's just going to be a coin flip in the end, and it's whoever's going to have that last possession. Might even go to overtime in game 5. Who really knows? But just before we get things kicked off, let's take a look one final time at the bracket from today, and you can see how we got to this stage throughout our tournament today in the semi-finals and the grand final. We have right here for you on StakeCube eSports. We had Jungle Juicers lose out to Dunno Chief, as we mentioned earlier, 2-0. It was pretty decisive. But that Ducks Vampy series, that is, yes, Vampy did scrape out the win in Game 3 overtime. And to be quite honest, I think that's why I'm going against them here. I don't think, I think Dunno Chief is just going to walk all over them here. Or I don't, okay, when I say walk all over them, I don't mean that they're going to stop them or anything, but I think they're going to have the easier time, or Dunno Chief.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're probably right. If you're basing it on momentum and how confidence is going at the moment, Dunno Chief, confidence will be through the roof, whereas Vampy are kind of going, oh, we just got through that one. And I honestly think that Vampy probably had the harder team in the semifinals. And Ducks, I mean, we could be talking right here about Dunno Chief versus Ducks. And Vampy's already got themselves $75, but it's around the other way, just based on just overtime and a couple of overtime goals from Vampy. And I think that if Vampy get game 1, they probably win it. Game 2, in my opinion, is the most important one, because game 1, if the team that wins game 1 wins game 2, all of a sudden that momentum shift is just way too big, and they probably should end up doing it in 3 or 4. But I expect 1-1 after 2 games in this one. This is going to be an interesting one, and it really will be a game of chess.
Yeah, and it's going to be the game of who holds their nerve and just doesn't get nervous, doesn't let the pressure of the situation, the event of a grand final here on stream, get to them. Obviously, Vampy have been here, done that, got the t-shirt, got the prize money from last time, so they're looking to defend their crown from the fall series here in the Christmas Showdown. So they might have the advantage in terms of that they've been to a grand final here at StakeCube eSports already. Whereas Dunno Chief I'm not entirely sure what their entire history is, but I don't know if they've been to a grand final of any sort before. But we'll see how both these teams really handle the pressure, and obviously with Vampy just scraping through that win. Obviously, there's going to be quite a lot of confidence from them, but I think it might have been damaged a little bit after, obviously, the first game that they conceded was the first one in the semi-final.
Yeah, that's probably the story of it, is that they conceded that first goal in the semi-final. But yeah, I mean, this one will be down to a lot more down to momentum than we saw at the last one. I love how my cam's frozen again, by the way, but we'll get that fixed. That's Australian internet right there. But it really will come down to momentum in terms of whether or not they can go all the way. And that first game is going to be so important.
Sorry, I thought I'd be in solidarity with you. And just
you gotta
I don't know
join
what
in.
position you're in, but I was like
NFTs. Yeah, it's the Foxy NFT. Get it now.
It's the Foxy NFT. Get it right now while you can. Screenshot that, sell it on. Why not? And of course, like StakeCube, obviously with what they've going on with crypto and all that. I mean, that's an apt comparison, you would say. By the way, one last reminder for you before we get this one underway. If you head to our Discord, hit the link underneath the stream right now, be taken to our Discord, and you can enter yourself in the giveaway for, I believe we're giving away 5 free Steam games, 5 random Steam games, so you got to be in it to win it. We've only got 23 entries. I mean, 5 people out of 23. I'd like those odds. Put yourself in the list. You got to be in it to win it. So go grab yourself potentially a free Steam game. So go to our Discord, hit the hashtag giveaways channel under the promo channel drop down thing, whatever you call it. Go there, hit the little confetti cannon emoji, and you'll be entered for a chance to win.
Got to be in it to win it.
Exactly. That's what
all it takes is one simple click.
Clicky click, clicky click.
Yep.
Get game. Clicky click. There's a lot of things that I've said tonight that I plan on never saying again. Doing clicky click is certainly one of them. We're just waiting on Dunno Chief getting themselves into this one. Perhaps maybe just doing a few last minute warm-ups. I know we had someone earlier who was
doing
in a 1v1 game for some reason. And they were joining.
And apparently it's happened again. One player is in game, and and
Oh, come
waiting
on.
for them. It's happened again. Oh,
It's
no.
happened again. It's happened again.
I mean, with the best of 5 disappearing from the third place playoff anyway, we got so much time to waste. We could sit here for a half an hour and just stare at the camera and would still be ahead. Well, I mean, you know, and plus, you know, but that's exactly what Carbo just said. They wouldn't have known that Juice were going to forfeit and you know, take themselves basically 20 minutes off the clock. They would have been relaxing and kind of just waiting for the third place playoff to finish, and all of a sudden they're told we got to start again. And that could be a big factor as well in terms of are they able to just switch themselves back on quickly after thinking that they probably had about 20 to 25 minutes of rest time and being told sorry, they're forfeited, you got to start now. That could be a factor as well.
Yeah, it's something that you don't really consider most of the time. Is like you said, with the forfeit coming through, all of a sudden you're now playing in the final. You've got to stop your warm-ups and get yourself onto the pitch. So it's going to be interesting to see how, especially Dunno Chief, start out this one. I would predict that probably Vampy take the first game in this instance, simply because they've been, you know, they've just came out of a semi-final series. They've not had a chance to chill at all. Dunno Chief might be feeling a little bit rushed at the start here, just to get themselves back into game and get focused back on this tournament. Obviously, by the sounds of things, they've been playing, you know, online warm-up games and keeping themselves going. To be fair, on the flip side of that, Vampy have been in this lobby for a while, so they've just been sitting here, really just staring at the screen, waiting for these guys to get here. We do have them finally into the lobby, so we're going to get this one underway. But Vampy's sitting here, maybe just hands getting a little bit cold.
It was tactical.
It
was all tactical.
It's all tactical. Getting themselves, getting their opponents off kilter and the momentum.
Like icing the kicker.
Yeah, exactly. Call it timeout. Timeout. But they've been timed out for quite a bit now, and I think we are all ready to go. So the grand final of this edition of the Christmas Showdown here on StakeCube eSports is about to get underway. Vampy versus Dunno Chief. Best of 5. Let's see who wins it.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting. This is going to be right off the bat. I expect a lot of attacking from both sides. The Vampy are a very attacking side, but also a very smart defensive as well. And boom, right there, straight from the start. We're 11 seconds in, and I call them very smart defensive. They just shut it up off the, Jigger was the last player, and he didn't know it. And very good pass from Adgoez to start us off. And Schiller, who was starting very, very fast in the last series, has started very, very fast here. And maybe that icing the kicker has worked as 11 seconds in, and they've gone cold.
Certainly have done, and especially I'm glad to see Adgoez get himself involved in the play very early, because in their semi-final game it was really just the Sheila and Cabo show. Yeah. The two of them hooking up and pulling off solo plays. Adgoez didn't really get himself involved too much, but an excellent play around the corner to set up Sheila will do himself wonders here at the start of this grand final. Now let's see what Vampy can answer back with, as Laza now off this right-hand side. Defender does miss here. He's got Dying right in the middle, but Sheila is able to position himself in a way that he gets it right back downfield.
Jigger's going to get another hit on that, but he's not, because he gets that knocked off by Carbo. Lassa will get the 50-50 there, but it will go to Adgoez. Dying just doesn't get that second touch on it. Sheila gets it away. Just smart getting rid at the moment from this side. They're just, when they're in trouble, they just get rid. Just bring it back up forward, and they'll get another chance, but it's better than giving them a grade A chance. And here's a chance for Jigger, and once again, Sheila just very, very smart, just gets rid. Doesn't need to worry about passing it to anyone in particular. Just get rid of it when you can, and that's exactly what this orange side has started off.
Yeah, playing keep away. And now Sheila will try and fake out the defender. Jigger will not be fooled this time. Upfield. Now let's see Vampy can answer back this time around. They had a good opportunity there, but Adgua's an excellent pass to his teammate. It was a very dangerous one, and that was dangerous from Cabo. Just couldn't find the angle on that dunk quite enough.
Yeah.
And it's, again, just pressure from Dunno Chief, and they're keeping their noses clean right now. No saves registered from Dunno Chief, but they have been playing a style of game where they've not really had to play defense off the post or off the crossbar. Will go Schiller.
Yeah, Vampy are doing the same thing that they did in game 1 of the previous series, where they've got a lot of possession of the ball, but they're not really doing much with it. It seems as if the possession that they're getting on the ball just comes from defense, and Schiller puts it in, and it's 2-0. And I mean, this has practically been, I'd say about 80% of the ball so far has been against Vampy. Dunno Chief have definitely attacked this game a lot quicker than what Vampy have, and they've gone off the start very fast. And I said this would be a very momentum orientated series. And
oh my
there
goodness!
it is, Carbo! Best goal of today for sure.
Oh, that's just excellent. Great setup by Schiller as well. And then this is all Cabo. Defense can't do anything about that one. Like an absolute rocket missile. Laser guided into the net. And you talked about the speeds that Dunno Chief really have, and they're completely outpacing their opponents. Just like they were doing to Jungle Juicers. They were running around this field so damn quickly, and their opponents just could not keep up. Same here.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Is that we were talking about when they were playing the Jungle Juicers, that Carbo's time in the air seems to be very... Oh, that was a chance. Couldn't quite get to it. But Carbo's speed getting into the air is definitely a lot faster than most players. He could give a lot of professionals a run for their money, and Schiller gets another one on the board, and for the second time today, Schiller gets a hat trick in game 1.
And that was really set up by Cabo as well. It doesn't get any credit on the scoreboard for it, but he knocks Dying out of the way and really opens the lane for his teammates to get that passing play off and shoot on net. And it's a 4-0 lead in game number 1 for Dunno Chief. I don't know about you folks, but I'm getting a little bit of deja vu here.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it was in their semi-final series.
Oh, look at that.
5.
He's so much faster in the air, but not only fastness, but just smartness in the air. Like, most players there would not go for that because they think that the keeper is going to get to it. But just, you're 4-0 up, you might as well go for it. And he got the keeper under wraps, and 5-0. And I mean, I said that this is going to be very momentum orientated series. With a 5-0 game 1, this is going to be so hard for Vampy to get back into this series.
Well, the thing is, you've got to just, if you're on the side of Vampy, I know you're going to lose this game here, but
yeah,
one thing you got to put this game out of your head. Next game, the games after that, all start the same. They all start 0-0. So you're going to have an equal opportunity to claw something back right to the end. Here comes Cabo looking for a 6th. Would certainly bury this coffin. The nail's already been put in the coffin here for game number 1. It would just be lowered into the grave at this point.
I think they can count
themselves
as
an
that
open
one.
net,
Yeah.
and that'll be 6.
I think they can count themselves lucky this is best of 5. If this was a best of 3, I'd be calling it over already, because this is just a domination from all 3 of them. I mean, Adgoez has been doing very, very well as that third man to make sure that nothing silly goes in. And the other 2 are very, very smart in attack between the 2 of them. And I mean, Schiller's had 6 shots for 4 goals. And this has practically just been just a whitewash to start it off. They're about to finish game 1, and this Vampy side only have 1 shot.
That they do. It's incredible to think just the way that they were playing against Ducks in the previous series. Double Demo will just be adding insult, or, well, I thought it was insult to injury. It was actually Vampy demoing out Dunno Chief, but the demos don't matter. It's the goals that count, and 6 of them will go the way of Dunno Chief for an absolute spanking here in game number 1.
And I mean, I was talking about, you know, Carbo being so fast in the air, and I mean, look at that, 38% fly percentage. He's in the air more than a third of the game, and that's,
It's ridiculous.
I mean, that's quite a lot. When you think of, like, you know, you got to go around, you got to get boost. You're practically, he's 38%. He's been what, 2 minutes in the air of a 5-minute game is ridiculous. Like that's very fast. That's a lot of airtime and a lot of pressure being put onto Vampy early. And I mean, I can see why Jigger's taking his time to start this next game, because they really need to stop this aerial play that we really did recognize early in semi-final 1, that aerial wise this Dunno side are very, very, very good in getting up fast, finding the right plays, and they're using the aerial plays a lot more than staying on the ground, that's for sure.
There's another interesting thing from that stat sheet at the end of the game there. Dying had no boost 21% of the time. That is just so, like, I've not seen that stat be shown before. It's great that we're able to show you that here on StakeCube eSports. But for you to be running around the field with no boost whatsoever, and we think Dying is their best player, let's not forget that. So he should be the one getting all the boost and at least having those opportunities, as Adogas gets the first in 12 seconds off the clock. That is really going to push the momentum of Dunno Chief, and a fantastic setup by Cabo as well.
They double committed the pass, and still they managed to find a way to get it to Agdoes, who still went for it. It was a very aggressive start, and it seems like this team are very good at starting aggressive and trying to get their opponents on the back foot early. And I mean, 15 seconds in and it's back to the same again, and that's why these early goals are so important, because it puts yourself back into that momentum you had in game 1. And this has just been an absolute whitewash so far. There's nothing else you can say about it. Agdoes goes and gets another one, and this one's gone top bins, almost unsavable from the positions they were in. But Lassa couldn't get to that one, and this is, like, the defense, they're playing too far back, Vampy, and allowing this to happen. But the reason why they're allowing this to happen is because of the pressure that's being put on them.
Well, the thing was, at the end of that play, it was Lassa and Dying just huddled together in the corner. Like, there was it seemed like there was no communication about who was going to go for it. They both end up missing, and then it's all left to Jigga, who's just all turned around in the middle of the net, just momentum completely stopped in the middle of the goal. And there's absolutely no way that you're going to be able to save any kind of shot when you're in that kind of position. So the guys on Vampy really starting to get their communications clean, and that's a really clean dunk by Shillo, put them up by 3.
Yeah, and once again, just it's Jigga not paying enough respect to Schiller on these kind of plays that he's been doing. It's just practically just been simple from what he's been doing the entire game. And I mean, he makes it look simple, but that's a lot harder than it looks, just to be able to hit that to perfection. But Agdoes is going to have a chance here too, and that's in. And we're a minute and a half in, and it's 4-0. I mean, we said this would go 5 games, but at the moment, this is just a whitewash in terms of. This is why momentum is so important, because I can guarantee at this stage right now, Vampy have their heads down. They're not coming to their absolute potential. Whereas if it was a close game and they only just lost game 1, they'd still be, coming to their full potential. And when you get thrashed 6-0 in game 1 and now you're losing 4-0 in this one, you can guarantee that the morale is not looking good on the side of Vampy.
It must not be, and especially that triple commit. But everyone dived at the ball, and then Agdoes had the easiest goal of his life today, just to tap that one in. I said it, the question I asked you, Fox, at the start of this series was who's going to feel the most pressure? Would it be Vampy, who've been to this grand final before and knows what it takes to win, as Cabo puts a great cherry pick shot onto net, or would it be Donochi? Would they feel the pressure of, not being able or not having been here before, at least in the history of StakeCube eSports, and not really maybe going against a team who, like we said, excuse me, they know they've won the previous tournament.
Yeah.
And obviously been sitting, waiting for this result to come through. They just came out of online warm-ups where they thought they weren't going to be playing for at least from now another 15 minutes or so. So
you think it would have been around the other way?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be around the other way, and that Vampy were the ones that were, coming straight out of an online match, and that Dunno were the previous champions, but Dunno have come into this one as, I wouldn't say the underdogs, but as a team that haven't won one of these tournaments yet, and Vampy would have been very, very confident coming into that one, as Lassa finally gets one onto the board, nearly at the end of game 2. They finally get something on the board to maybe get a bit of confidence onto the side.
Nah, if that one goal is certainly going to sit well with Lassa, because they have really not been playing all too well. Maybe a kickoff goal here could start turning the tides back in their favor. Dying will go in the follow-up, but an excellent save by Cabo will just pile on the pain to Vampy. Looks like a reverse sweep is going to be required. I know we've still got another 80 seconds or so left in this game, and anything can happen, but that one from Cabo might have just put it out of reach.
Yeah, I think they're going to need more than a reverse sweep here. This is going to have to be quite the reverse sweep. Not only a reverse sweep in terms of score, but in terms of momentum as well. Like it's been 11 goals to 1 in these 2 games so far, and there's still a minute 19 to go. And it's been based on just probably over attacking from Vampy. I wouldn't even say that. I mean, there's been some brilliant plays from Dunno, don't get me wrong, but just a lack of basic defensive rotation as Dying gets one on the board with a minute to go. Just a lack of defensive rotation on the side of Vampy has kind of cost them the last 2 games.
Yeah, and just miscommunication a lot of the time. Yeah. That's what it seems to be. Is they're not talking to each other all that well, or just something's getting lost in translation. Oh, a fake kickoff. Oh, that's old when you're 3 goals up. It's an interesting decision. Yeah. I'm not sure if I agree with it, but hey, they not conceded off of it. That's okay. I said
Rocket League is a game of chess sometimes. Like, yeah, that's almost a checkmate at that stage. Like, that was, you've got 3 goals in a minute. Just play default. None of this silly faking stuff. And I mean, but it does show how confident this Dunno squad is.
Yeah.
That they definitely look like they are the more confident of. I mean, the 3 players on the team definitely look a lot more confident than the 3 on Vampy at the moment. And rotation-wise and stuff like that, we said it in semi-final 1 as well. They're very solid in defensive rotation. Not only just like stopping shots, but stopping shots before they happen is a big problem. I mean, a big thing as well. Not only do you stop the shots and get the saves, but get the saves before they're credited to you. Stop the pass. Stop that pass that's going to create a big grade A chance, and that's exactly what Dunno have been doing all day.
Yeah, they've just been able to control the pace of this game, and like we said, just the speed that these guys are playing at. Earlier on, Jungle Juicers didn't have an answer. Vampy, I thought, might have been able to take the fight a little bit more towards them, but they just haven't really shown me what they are capable of. Even in the semi-final game, I feel they were holding quite a lot back against Ducks. And yeah, it just seems like something's just not clicking here. I'm not really sure what it's going to be to swing it back in Vampy's favor.
Yeah,
but it's really not looking good for the defending champions. Like we said, they need to now reverse sweep 3 games in a row and not drop one against Dunno Chief. Even just to get to game 5, I think would just be a miraculous comeback for them. But we'll see what they are able to pull off. I think we're just waiting on one player. I think they're restarting their game.
Jigger's just restarting game. He'll be 20 seconds. But an amazing stat there as well that we've seen from game 1 and 2 is that Vampy have actually had more touches on the ball. I know that there's 2 different, styles of play being played and everything else, but there's been more touches from the side of Vampy. They're just not doing anything with it. And another interesting stat in that one was we were talking about, the amazing, aerial percentage that we saw from Carbo in the previous game where he was 38% aerial. He went 40% in game 2.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous what Cabo has been able to pull off today. He's certainly been the MVP for Dunno Chief. So as of this point, the question is now, can they send it home in 3? A sweep in the grand final be one hell of a statement. Let's see what they can pull off here. And they might even get one. It was an empty net. Cabo puts it high, but the rebound is right on target.
And once again, I mean, here's a funny stat for you. All 3 goals have been at 11 seconds into the game. All 3 goals were at 4:49 on the clock. It's quite a funny stat, but it's quite a sad one if you're a Vampy fan, because they've just 3 times they've had to play from the back foot straight away. And we were talking about, Carbo being MVP and stuff like that, but he would not be MVP without his 2 teammates. Like, this team have been, I was talking about Vampy being a very team-orientated, play style and everything else, but this has been brilliant from Dunno in terms of their team orientated. I don't know how long these guys have been playing together, but it's like they've been playing together for years. They just I don't know. I mean, they're obviously communicating and stuff like that, but just it looks like they could play it without communicating. They seem to be on the same point, and it's good to see that the team orientated play is still a thing in Rocket League. I love to see it.
Yeah, it's a well-oiled machine on the side of Dunno Chief as Dying goes towards net. Oh, and Lassa follows up. Could Jigga put it in and tie it up? Yes, he can. That is the injection of adrenaline that Vampy really needed.
Yeah, and I mean, they do everything they can here to make sure they don't score. Dunno are finding... The thing is that Dunno are finding open goals and open chances and everything else, and Vampy are finding it hard to score, and when they do score, it's by inches, if that makes sense. Like, they're finding ways of scoring where Dunno are finding open goals. I think that's been the story of the series so far, is that Dunno are finding it easy to score, and now Lassa finds it easy to score just with a bit of a mistake in the center here from Adgoez, who thought he had more time than he did.
It was an excellent play from Jigga, just getting that dunk into open space, and Lassa just tracks it down. And I was going to say as well about being able to tie it up as quickly as that from Vampy, even to get the 1-1. That is so important that they were able to respond. And look at the response here from Dunno Chief. Just as quickly as they were in the lead, they were now tied back up.
Do we do an assist of the day? Because that for sure was hurt. Like, you could not have put that in a better spot. That's harder than scoring that, being able to pass it to absolute perfection. And that off the wall, for sure. There was no way that Sheila was missing that ball from where it was given to him.
And now we're back at even Stevens. Just as we wanted to see in this grand final. I was so scared that Dunno Chief were just going to run away with this in game number 3 and Vampy not putting up any kind of fight. Cabo, oh boy, he had Adgoez go right towards net and take out the defender, but everyone was tracking him down. Dying does get demoed for his efforts upfield, and that could have been a momentum swing if Vampy were able to put that one in. Excellent heads-up play from the defense to take him out of the play.
Yeah, they're fighting now. There's demos happening left, right, and center, but it's come down to the point now where this is going to have to be all guns blazing from Vampy. Find the next goal, get themselves back into the series, because at the moment it's just been momentum-wise, even though it's 2-2 in this game 3 and they've got themselves back in it, they need to find a good win here if they want to get back into it. They need to find a good win, not just like an overtime win or something like that. They need to find a good win to get themselves the momentum to go all the way, because at the moment, this Dunno squad is looking very, very good.
I fully agree with you, because as soon as, or even if you get to overtime, you're going to give Dunno Chief so many chances to score on you. You don't want to go down to that last goal situation, maybe get a couple more. If you're Vampy, that was interesting, at least the angle I was watching from there. Looked like it might have been trickling in, but Jigga will get the clear away nonetheless. Here comes Cabo, 70 boost. What is he be able to do with it? Double commit there from Laza and Dying. Not the first time we've seen that from them. Jigga's going to have to be the one to clean things up on the back wall. And a minute 20 left, still tied. Dying's in the middle here. Jigga with plenty of boost. Two-man jump. It's Cabo who does get it over to the side and just kills the momentum and the downfield play from Vampy.
1 minute to go in game 3, and they're finally starting to get a bit of fight here, Vampy. They've given themselves a chance in game 3, and that's all they needed, was just a chance to get themselves back into this series. But the way that this Dunno squad has been playing, they need to find a goal for overtime, because the pressure that's been coming from kickoffs has just been too much. There was a chance right there to finish it off. 50 seconds to go, and Jigga's going to just go for a big bang like he has been. He's been finding goals that way, just from teams kind of being sleepy on rotation defense-wise. But here's a chance for Schiller. Couldn't quite get there. 30 seconds to go. And Adgoez! Oh, good save by Jigga. That could have been the tournament right there.
Jigga has been an absolute madman on the back line. He's really saved this Vampy team so far from going even further
That might
down
drop
into
in.
a hole. He needs to save it here. Dying doesn't get a good enough touch on it, and it will rattle in with 20 seconds to go.
Well, they deserve this fortune, because they've played brilliant in this series. You get lucky goals like this sometimes, and that one goes off the roof and in. 20 seconds to go until they're champions.
We've seen last seconds plays play out all day today. That's what Vampy need to keep their heads above water, stay in this tournament, stay in this grand final. They've got 10 seconds to sink something and send us to overtime, but Cabo will go to net and go in for the follow-up, and the 2-goal lead with 3 seconds left. It's only a matter of time now.
That's it. Adgoez takes it off. He's played brilliant in this grand final in terms of finding the right plays at the right time, and he finds 2 goals to finish off this game, and it's the 2 most important goals of the day, because it's given them the tournament win.
Oh, the underdogs in our eyes, but they have really made their stamp here in StakeCube eSports. Taking down the previous champions in Vampy, they will touch it down. Dunno Chief are your champions of the Christmas Showdown.
And I honestly think that it's well deserved. They were underdogs probably before the start of game 1. After that, after they scored those 2 goals early, you could say that it was just completely changed. It was just completely reversed. Like, if you had odds on the game, it would have been odds on favorite from Dunno Chief just from the start. It honestly looked like Dunno Chief were awake straight away in that, and they looked very, very good. And to beat Vampy 3-0 is not an easy task. I don't think Vampy were at their 100% best today, but some of these highlights, some of these defensive plays, but not only defensive plays, but just the passing plays from defense, it was a wonderful, wonderful performance.
Yeah, top to bottom, Dunno Chief were really just the better side today. Vampy, as I said before, in their semi-final game, there was a lot left out in the field for them, and they just didn't take chances when they could. It's exactly what we saw here in the grand final as well. And Dunno Chief were, I said that Dunno Chief were going to walk all over them, kind of jokingly, and I backed out of it. I should have stuck with the guns, because
Yeah, you
that
should have
was
stuck with
just
your
a
gut.
dominating
Honestly, it did look
performance.
like that.
Yeah, dominating performance, and like certainly have stamp their authority here at StakeCube eSports, and I imagine we'll see them again in the future.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that not only here at StakeCube, but maybe in other tournaments and C-tier tournaments in the future, because they really did look good as a team. That there wasn't a lot of individual plays. There was a few from Carbo, but it was mostly team orientated, and they played very well in terms of just knowing where everybody was, and a lot of passing plays in that game were going to the right player at the right time, and there wasn't a lot of passing plays that were missed. Like honestly, there was a lot of passing plays in that game that you don't remember them missing. It was such an assist performance from this side, and they absolutely deserve to win. Absolutely.
Yeah, they just ran rings around them. Dono Chief, they just ran rings around Vampy the entire time, and really had no signs of slowing down at all. And like you were saying throughout the games there, Fox, about how well, at least previously, how Vampy kept their playstyle very team orientated. Dono Chief were just on a different level. Like you said, the passes were just so accurate. There was nothing going wrong when they moved upfield. Maybe aside from a little bit of a run-in or a little bit of a momentum bouncing back Vampy in that third and final, in what was going to be the third and final game. They just didn't seem rattled at all. Even when Vampy had the momentum on their side, had the lead, they just didn't seem phased by it. They just kept playing their own game, stuck to their guns, and that's why they're walking away with that $200.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, $200. I mean, Christmas time coming along, and that's extra presents, and I mean, they're going to be very happy with that, because they deserved it a lot. I think that, I mean, story of the day was probably just teamwork on this side. I think the teamwork from Dunno was probably better than any other side, and it's teamwork makes the dream work, and this team definitely. Out of the 4 teams that we saw today in the semis, I think that they just were a different level in terms of just thinking and seeing where your opponent, where your teammate is, and where they are, and just being able to play to your teammate, not just yourself, and playing individual plays and playing to your skill, but playing to your teammate's skill as well is also very important. And knowing where your teammate is the best play you could possibly do in Rocket League, in my opinion.
So that's our lesson from today. Teamwork makes the dream work, and that is what has bagged Dono Chief themselves the tournament win here in the StakeCube eSports Christmas Showdown. But that's nearly it from us here today. Fox, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
The thing is, right, that even though it's 6 in the morning here, it's 28 degrees, it's Australian summer, I'm hot as I want to go to bed.
You deserve a rest, man, because it's been one heck of a day here, and one hell of a tournament. It's been a pleasure to be part of this today. And maybe we'll hopefully see Vampy and Dono Chief come back in whatever tournament we have next. But if you want to stay up to date with everything StakeCube eSports, go to Twitter and hit the follow. All the links are going to be underneath the stream that I'm about to list off here. Go follow us on Twitter. Join our Discord as well. You'll be notified at any tournaments. And of course, the best thing you can do is follow us right here at twitch.tv/StakeCube eSports. But from myself, Crappin, from him, Fox, from everyone behind the scenes here at StakeCube eSports, we thank you for watching. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you soon.
Merry Christmas, guys. Have fun.
I like it dark.
We want to thank our friends at Metabrands for sponsoring our eSport event. Metabrands is a metaverse resource DAO that provides instant exposure to the top-performing NFTs, play-to-earn models, and player-owned economies. Now let's talk about another of our sponsors, MeTech. MeTech is a hosting provider for ASIC and GPU miners and a reseller of old and new equipment combined with an own repair shop. And now we bring you one of our sponsors, PIVX. PIVX is financial security, protecting your wealth and privacy through its cutting-edge proof-of-stake blockchain. We want to thank our friends at Moments for sponsoring our eSport event. Moments is a platform that facilitates the exchange of crypto for time, including tasks, hires, marketplace, and more. Be sure to sign up and get an instant crypto rewards today.